That was fun. Hi, everybody. How's it going out there? Yeah, I'm having fun here, so bear with me. Bear with me. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. How to beat you? Really want it? How to beat you, fanny? Beat you on a bowl with you. I don't wanna go with you. How do we jail? Did you want it? How do we you Betty Bell? Did you wanna go with you? I don't wanna go with you now. Yeah. Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? It's Saturday. I just thought I'd get up and play a little, hang out a little. I miss you all, so here I am. I've been oh, click the like button, please. Click the like button. Maybe, yeah, click the like button if you can, or if you can't, that's all right too. And, you know, most channels, I've been checking stuff out, and most channels, they have more viewers than they have subscribers, right? I'm totally upside down. I have more subscribers than I have viewers. That's just, I don't know what that means, but somehow I don't think that's really good. But also, I don't think it really matters. What the fuck? Anyway, yeah. How is that possible? Most people, they'll say like, we have way more viewers than we do subscribers, so please subscribe. But I have more subscribers than I have viewers. I don't know. In my movie, did you all watch my movie? Only 200 and some people watched my movie. I was really disappointed. I thought maybe more of you would watch it. Yeah, I worked so hard on it, you know. Dylan and I did. And I was hoping, you know, more of you would watch it. But I guess who watches it is who watches it. I tried to sell it to Netflix and all these places, and nobody was interested. So there you go. It doesn't really matter, I guess. It sort of matters. It matters for my ego, I guess, but who knows whether it matters or not. I'm not in the mood to tell any more boxing stories. I'll tell some next week. I was in the mood to play today. Yeah, playing is fun. Playing is fun. Boy, I had a crazy week, man. I had a crazy week. I got totally hacked. I had to get a new checking account and all my shit, man. It was such a nightmare. I'm still in the middle of it, man. Wow, what a horrible experience. Oh, anyway, I won't go into my personal bullshit, but boy, this has been one week I won't forget. Anyway, Orange Kitty. What the fuck? Orange Kitty. I don't think he is into the podcast as much. Even the Orange Kitty quit the podcast. What does that mean? Is that a signal from the gods? No, he's outside. The weather's getting better. He's hanging out there. It's always nice here, though. It's like what they say, endless summer, you know. We have a few cold days. They're not really cold, but to us they're cold. And then it's back to endless summer. I've been riding my bike on the boardwalk. I know you're not interested, but I'm telling you anyway. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, watch my movie if you can. if you can. If you can't, that's all right. Click like if you can. That's all right. Tell somebody about it. I found out that, podcasts grow by word of mouth. So I'm not getting much word of mouth because I'm growing slow. But I have a few new subscribers, so that feels pretty good. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Yeah. It's all about agreement, like the subscribers, that means they're getting some agreement. So I'm not getting much. I see these podcasts and they're talking about their millions of viewers and hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and yeah, I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah. What else? I've been watching stuff. I've been watching a lot of AI, man. I'm fucking obsessed with that AI. I'm obsessed with AI. I'm really bad at computers, so I'm trying to. I need help, like from Dylan or somebody to help me. Yeah, but this AI thing has really captivated me because I was going to make this movie in the virtual world. You'll see a little piece of it in my movie. But the AI is so much better than what we have in the virtual world, that I think I'm going to have to make it in AI, man, because it looks so real. But I was thinking we could take our avatars in the virtual world and show AI a picture of them, and AI could make them look like real people. And that would be really cool because I really love my avatars. We have a whole fleet of avatars that we've made actors for our movie. So we have all these different avatars that we've created to do it. And hi, Phinia. How you doing? Am I saying your name right? Phinia? Anyway, yeah. So I'm into that. That's what I'm into. And I told you I'm into listening to new music. That's kind of cool. That's cool. Yeah, we added turkey dinner to our menu over at the restaurant. Wow, it's so good. I went yesterday and had a turkey dinner, and it felt like Thanksgiving, you know what I mean? It was really great. I was sitting there, I was going, fuck, this is amazing, man. Brett Doherty over at our restaurant, he does such a good job, man. He's a genius when it comes to restaurants. Yeah, he's cool. Everybody's cool. My son's cool. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Zeta. Hi, Gia. How you guys doing out there? Yeah. I don't know what to say today. I mean, usually if I start telling stories, I'll go clicking along, but I'm in a play mood. I was in a play mood. Plus, it's Saturday. Maybe the weekends I'll play, and the weekdays I'll tell stories. Someone said, aren't you out of stories yet? This is episode 138. Come on, big kitty, come up here. Come here. Let me get the big kitty. Come on, little boy. Say hello to everybody. Hey, everybody, there's the big orange kitty. Hello, big kitty. Hello, big boy. Hello. There's the orange kitty. Finally, I came cruising up, so I put him up here. Hello. Don't bite my cords. He tends to bite shit, so I have to keep an eye on him. And he's going to come over and say hello to you. Come back, big kitty. Hey. That might be the end of Big Kitty. He's on his own trip today. Hey, boy, come here. Yeah, get over here. Yeah. Wow, I'm so glad you're back. He's cruising around, man. He's having fun. It's early today. I like doing this stuff early. I'm an early bird, you know. I get up at I get up at 6 in the morning lately. Before I was getting up at 5, but I'm I'm getting up at 6 now. I'm slipping, but I get up at 6, and I do my shit. And it's fun. I like playing early in the morning. That's when I usually play the most, is early in the morning. I just get up and play, and it's fun. It's fun to play. I know this is bullshit today, but that's how it is. So, yeah, so I have more subscribers than I have viewers. That's totally upside down in the world of podcasting. That's just insane. But tell somebody about it. Tell a friend. Tell anybody. They say it's word of mouth. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. Look at, I'm being boring. Oh, well. You know what? Oh, I'm EMI. Just talk about shit I'm into. That's sort of lame. I've been watching the political shit nationally, but I have no comments because I don't have a right to tell anybody what to think or to say what I think. What I think is not important. It's more important what I do. You know what I mean? Like it's like a big drama. All this political stuff. It just goes and goes and goes. And they never run out of stuff to say. I can see why the podcasters do it. There's always something to talk about. That's not like me where there's nothing to talk about. They have stuff to talk about every second. I'm getting my Gavin Newsom things here. Throw your arms around, roll your eyes in your head, do whatever. I'm not going to say anything political though. I'm not going to say anything. So what I really liked your comments. Somebody asked me about Keith Knudsen. Keith Knudsen, I love that guy. He played drums with me after Frosty, after Joe Larson. Joe Larson came in for like 3 months when Frosty quit abruptly. And he played on the 5th album. So Do You Know What I Mean? And all the songs were Joe Larson. And he had his own thing going on, but he came and helped me. And I really appreciate that my whole life. And he's a lifelong friend of mine. But after Joe was back to his own thing, I got Keith Knudsen. Some people told me about Keith, and he was a good drummer, and he played with me. And then after he played with me, he went on and joined the Doobie Brothers and was with them for his whole career. And they were very, we all knew who the Doobie Brothers were. They were really good. And Keith is really a great guy. Like some guys are just great guys. Keith was a great guy. Yeah. He died too early, but I guess some of us die early. Yeah, I don't know what to say about Keith. He was a great guy, and I really enjoyed playing with him. So you asked me about it, I'm telling you about it. Yeah. And I told you about Mill Valley because somebody asked me about that. So you can ask me any questions you want. I'll answer it. I don't care, I don't care. I'll answer anything because I don't have anything to talk about. So that gives me something to talk about. But yeah, Keith was cool. I never, somebody asked me if I ever met Gene Hackman. No, I didn't meet Gene Hackman ever. And I didn't meet him. And then what else did they ask me? I forget. They asked me if I met Gene Hackman and something else, but I forgot the something else. Anyway, this is cool. This is a mellow day, man. It's Saturday. The boardwalk isn't crazy yet. Usually starting by about 8 o'clock, you start hearing music out on the street, and if there's any kind of events happening down on the boardwalk, you start hearing them testing the big giant sound systems. It's boom, 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 and it's like, it's kind of cool. I go, oh, what's that? And I run out and get on my bike and ride down to see what's going on, There's always something going on. Like last year, they filmed over 400 movies on the boardwalk, or films or commercials or whatever. So that's more than one a day. And you take the holidays out of there and you realize, man, every day there's 2 or 3 film shoots going on down here. There's always something going on. Sometimes they're big, giant film shoots, and sometimes they're small. I'll tell you a story. When we were making I made a movie when I turned 50. That's like 30 years ago. And And we were down in the boardwalk, and we had permits and everything, but we were really a small little crew, and we didn't look too professional because we weren't. We didn't know what we were doing. When I wanted to make that movie, I thought, well, I'll take some classes at AFI, American Film Institute. So I went there, and I took a whole bunch of summer classes at AFI. And when I was there, I met Arthur Springer, who became a lifelong friend. He was just graduated from AI. He was a full-blown, he graduated. He was an editor, and we met. He was sort of leaving, and I was sort of coming there, and we met, crossed paths, but we had some kind of connection, so we became lifelong friends. And he wound up editing my movie, and he's been a professional editor all those years, man. For 30 years, he's been editing, man. So he's in the trenches, man, working hard. But and Arthur's made a bunch of movies. They're cool, yeah. His own personal movies. He's made movies. He won science fiction awards and stuff. He's made some really out there crazy ass shit. Anyway, so we're down in the boardwalk, and there's a big giant. One of the parking lots was totally full of trucks. They're doing a big giant film, and it was Sylvester Stallone, and they had so many trucks. It's so big. It was like, fuck, they're filling this whole parking lot up with shit. And they had tables and tents, and it was just a whole thing. And so there's this cop on a motorcycle. And so he comes riding down the boardwalk. He comes from the film shoot. He comes riding down the boardwalk in his motorcycle to us, and we're sitting there filming our thing. And he goes, "Excuse me, do you have a filming permit?" And I go, "You kidding, right?" And he goes, "No, do you have a film permit?" And I go, "Yeah." And so I say, "Hey, give me a permit." So it's a friend of person, one of the people who gave me my shit, and I took out the film permit and showed it to him. So he sits there and he's looking at it for the longest time, and he's just looking at the film permit. I go, "You want me to read it?" And he didn't like me saying that at all, but he was taking so long. He was just sitting there and looking at it. And he hands it back to me. He goes, "I just lost $100. I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, well, "I bet everybody over at the film shoot that you guys didn't have a permit. I bet them $100 that you didn't have a permit. And now you got a permit, so I just lost $100. And so we all laughed, and he was cool about it. But that was a funny moment, man. And then we got checked so many times. We were on the boardwalk for 8 weeks making that film. And it was called Sex and Killing. And also, it didn't do anything. It was a failure. But yeah, we got checked so many times. People came and checked us for our permits. And my standard line was, "You want me to read it?" Because they'd look at it and they'd be pissed that we had a permit. And so one day, and you got to understand, down on the boardwalk, if you go out in the sand, that's park rangers are in charge of the sand. They have authority in the sand, but they don't have authority on the boardwalk. The boardwalk's LAPD, and the sheriffs, they're over everything. So it's like all these different agencies have a right to hassle you, when you're down there. So we're down there, and this one guy comes up. He's really angry, kind of park ranger, like looks like Smokey the Bear. He's got the hat on, the whole thing. He's just really looks out of place, but he's cruising along in his little pickup, thinking he's official or something. He was really not a nice guy. But he checked our permit, and same thing. He looked at it the longest time, but I asked him if he wanted me to read it, and he got really mad at me for that. And yeah, so it was so much fun. We filmed it for 8 weeks, man. We were just here going crazy. Yeah, it was a fun thing. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. And one of my sons, both my sons at that time were both just surfers. They were just surfing, So I thought, well, I got to do something to jolt them out of just being surfers. So my youngest son, Mika, I told him, "Hey, I'm going to make this film. I want you to film it." And you got to understand, his grandfather was a camera operator, did Alfred Hitchcock movies and worked on John Wayne movies. He's just a real deal camera operator. And so I thought, well, maybe his grandson will follow in his footsteps or something. So I says, "Mika, I want you to film this." He says, "Well, I've never filmed anything before," because he's just a surfer. I says, "Well, I'm going to send you to the Maine Photographic Workshop in Maine." It was in the summer. And so he went there all summer. So while I was going to AFI, he was going to the Maine Photographic thing, which was this kind of like cool photography place in Maine. And so he got to go to Maine for the summer. and study about film and learning stuff. And so he came back and he filmed the film. He did it all himself. He operated the camera, and it was really hard to do because we had to load film in it because we were shooting it in 35 millimeter film. So it was really difficult, and he really rose to the occasion. And he did that. He wound up working in the film business for like 15 years, 11 years or something. And he wound up being on a bunch of great movies. He was an assistant, a camera assistant, was a job he had. And then he had a city cam when they first came out. He was doing that. Anyway, so he filmed that film, and then I had my son Kevin was one of the actors, and my friend Bitten was in it, and Joel Larson, the drummer from Do You Know What I Mean, he was in it. We had everybody I knew, I got him to be in my film, and we made this film, and my son at the time, he was like, he's 21 or I don't know how old he was, but him and I had a really hard time, In fact, our whole lives we've sort of bumped heads, and I love him dearly, but we sort of bumped heads a lot, Yeah, it was just one of those father-son things, but he was the most difficult kid, and he was really sort of out of control at that point in his life, and I was really worried about him because he was so out of control, The cops used to park in front of our house in Malibu when I lived in Malibu, and they would just park in front of our house because my kids were such a problem. They were just out of control. And it's really funny. Over at the restaurant, 30 years later, I'm at the restaurant, and my son's running the restaurant now. And this one sheriff, he's an old sheriff, and he tells me, yeah, when I was a new sheriff, I was stationed in Malibu, and I used to be one of the guys that parked in front of your house and hassled your kids. And so we all laughed because here time goes by. He's an old guy. We're old guys. My son's older now. He used to hassle my son. You know what I mean? It was horrible. Man, the sheriffs, so they would just come walk right into my house looking for my kids, man. It was crazy. My kids were crazy. I guess they violated the law a lot with us, but we deserved it. We deserved it. Yeah, they were crazy kids. Yeah, my son Kevin, so my whole life, Kevin and I had a really hard time, but now we're really good, but man, we butted heads for a long, long time, boy. He just hated me on some of them, but totally loved me at the same time. He was just a real, one of the most difficult teenagers ever, and really hot-headed and angry and fought a lot. And oh man, it was my life's work to make sure he didn't go to jail or something, because he was so out of control. But somehow he made it through, and he's a great guy, and he's got great daughters, and I guess we all grow up. But I guess we all grow up, and I love him dearly. Yeah. So anyway, down in the boardwalk, we filmed that film for 8 weeks, and it was like every day my son Kevin made it difficult for everybody. He was totally out of control. And people would tell me he needs help, you know what I mean? Like everybody was talking about, how can you deal with this guy? He was so out of control. And I thought maybe if he acted in my movie, he would and he had one of the main parts. I thought if he acted in my movie, that would maybe give him some kind of direction, and he would stop being so hot-headed. But instead, he was angry the whole movie and was really difficult, man. He was just beyond difficult. And we made it through the movie. I got to hand it to him. He wanted to quit a bunch of times, but he didn't let me down. He hung in there and he didn't quit. So he didn't quit. Yeah, boy. I know a lot of us have kids and we have stories about our kids, yeah, shit. And we all love our kids. There you go. Anyway, I digressed into some fucking stories. So anyway, that was a film I made. It was called Sex and Killing, and it was shot in 35 millimeter. And I would like to digitize it and put it into digital and reconfigure it, but it would cost like $30,000 to turn the telecine, the 35 millimeter film back to digital, like for digital, and then I would have to pay somebody to edit it. So it would probably cost me $50,000-$60,000 to get the movie seeable. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't have $50,000 or $60,000 to waste like that. And it would be a waste because, you know, it wasn't a good movie. In fact, when it was finished, we showed it. We had a showing here, and I had everybody that was all involved in the film, and a bunch of people brought their friends, and they all watched the movie. And afterwards, somebody came up to me and told me that was the worst movie they'd ever seen. Oh, I was crushed. They said, that's the worst movie I've ever seen. And another friend of mine brought a girl to the screening, and she also said it was the worst movie she'd ever seen. And yeah, I struck zero on that one, but I still loved it, and I love it. I look at my kids, and they were really young then, and they stepped up to the plate, man. They stepped up. Mika and Kevin both stepped up, and it was a fucking battle the whole time, man. And I thought, I don't ever want to make another movie. That's what I thought after that. I thought, man, fuck making movies. That was the worst experience of my life compared to making music. Making music is really easy. You know, you make music, and it's so easy, you know, and you just play, and you have fun, and you enjoy it. Making the movie, man, that was the hardest thing I've ever done. I've never done anything so hard. And it was, yeah. Yeah, making movies is hard, man. So if anybody makes a movie, when I have a friend, they make little movies, or they make features and stuff, independent, and they don't do so well, or they're struggling trying to sell them, or just like I'm doing. And I really know that it's a miracle. If you can make a whole movie and finish it, man, you've fucking worked hard. You really worked, you know. It just doesn't go door-to-door, and you make a movie like in music, you know. It's just like, whoo, it's hard. And somehow I'm still attracted to it, and I want to make this virtual movie. Maybe my virtual movie will be the worst virtual movie ever made, too. I don't know. But I want to do it, still want to do it, but it's so hard. Man, there's nothing harder than making a movie. So my hat's off to any independent filmmaker that makes a movie. No matter how bad the movie turns out, my hat's off to them, because I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is, man. And you put your heart and your soul into it, and then you're done, and then nobody wants to watch it, or nobody. Yeah, it's a sobering effect. But then you go back and you do it again. You know, like I have friends that have made a few movies, and none of them have done that good. And then they go back and do it again because they love doing it. But it's sort of a love-hate thing, because every one of them can tell you what a nightmare it is. Okay, I'll give you a nightmare story. Here's a nightmare story. This is a good one. My friend Arthur Springer, the guy I met at AFI, the lifelong editor, he's made a film. So he made this one film. The last film he made, he was halfway through his film. He had this girl that was a lead actress and stuff. And he was halfway through his film, and the girl says, I don't want to be an actress anymore. And he goes, wait a minute, we're halfway through the film. He had all these people that filmed the whole thing. And she was such a selfish bitch. I can use that word because she was a selfish bitch. All these people had worked on this movie, and they're halfway done, and he'd spent a lot of money. And she goes, I don't want to be an actress. I just want to ride horses. Ride horses. She was halfway through the movie, and she just quits on Arthur. Can you imagine how crushing that was? It's so hard to make a movie. And he's halfway through, and this selfish, spoiled fucking brat of a girl just quits. And she quit because she decided she didn't want to be an actress. Well, you would have thought she would have hung in there and gone through it and not let everybody down. But she didn't care. She let everybody down. You know, and she was just some spoiled girl that wanted to go home and ride horses. She didn't want to, finish the movie. I thought that was one of the most selfish things I'd ever heard. I was so outraged. When Arthur told me that, I felt so bad for him. He was crushed, man. He was crushed. But he regrouped and found another actress and shot the movie. And his movie won Best Science Fiction movie at some film festival. So it was an all right movie. And he's a real deal editor. He's a really good editor. And so, he was crushed, man. He was crushed. Can you imagine how it would feel? You're halfway done, and it's so hard, and he's working so hard on it. Gets halfway done, and this girl just quits. His lead actress just quits on him. Story, I'm quitting. What do you mean you're quitting, man? What do you mean you're quitting? She just quit and she didn't care about him. She didn't care about all the people that worked so hard on it. And everybody's sacrificing. Nobody got paid a lot, so everybody in the movie was making a sacrifice to make this movie. And this girl let everybody down and she could care less, man. She could care less. I always thought that was the most horrible girl in the world. I'm glad she didn't do it to my movie. I would have done something to her. I would have got even somehow, man. But Arthur let it slide. He's a good guy. He's a better guy than me because I wouldn't have stood for that, man. I would have got some kind of retribution. Anyway, that's what it's like making it films, man. You got to deal with that. And when you're dealing with independent films, a lot of times you're dealing with people that aren't real pros, like that girl. So you cast people in your movie and you really believe they're going to hang in there, and then they turn out to be totally unprofessional and they just hang out to dry. Like if you got a great big movie with a giant budget and everybody's in the union and everything's very controlled and nobody's going to quit, everybody's going to do their job, But when you're making an independent movie, man, you're liable to select the wrong person and they'll just let you down and they don't even care at all, Anyway, that was really horrible. Whew. Whew. So after that, I was thinking, I want to make a virtual movie where we control all the actors, And now that I see AI, I think I'm really inspired because I think, wow, it's actually possible to make a movie and nobody will let you down because the actors are AI. So you own all the actors, you control their destiny. You know what I mean? Like it's really good for independent filmmakers because you can control that and you don't have to be let down by people. And it's really expensive to make a movie. You don't think about it, but even the most crummy movie, you got to have food for everybody. And it's just a fucking expensive deal. Even at the cheapest way you do it, it's still super costly. And everybody that does it puts their heart and soul into it. So anybody that makes a movie, I really take my hat off to them, And there's a lot of people doing it, like Sundance Film Festival. They get like 15,000 submissions. I know I talked about that before, about the submission scam. But yeah, man. So a lot of people are making movies and trusting their creativity and putting it all on the line, So even the crummiest movie, my hat's off to the person that makes it because, yeah, it's hard to do. It's hard to do, man. It's just not easy. You can't even explain it to people that haven't done it. It's staggeringly hard. And the smaller the movie, the harder it is in a way, I mean, logistically, it's maybe not harder, but it's harder because everything falls on your shoulders. If you're the filmmaker, you're in charge of everything, and even if you have help, it's never enough. So anyway, that's what I talked about today. So I'm really excited about AI because you won't get let down by these actors, and you can make the great actors. So we have a whole fleet of actors in the virtual world. It's taken us, it took us months to build all these actors and to get them to have, you can have 3 avatars and each one of them can look cool, but they don't have a visual chemistry between them. So it was really hard. We have 3 college students in my movie that we're getting ready to make. And it took us months to get them right so that the 3 avatars that were the college students had some kind of visual chemistry together. And they have it, So I think I don't want to throw all that work away, but I want to take those characters and turn them into AI so they look like real people. And because they really had a visual chemistry, and the lead actors and the lead actresses that we created in there, they also are. Man, I got one avatar. She's a fucking star. I swear to God, man. Her name is Boa Tootie, and she's she's a star. I think she could be the first virtual star, because one thing, all the AI movies I've seen, they're sort of generic, the girls and everything, but that's everything's sort of generic. So they're sort of generic, and our goal was to create avatars that didn't look generic, that had a real presence of. But I got this one avatar that really, I believe she's a star. And then I have another avatar that is just so out there. She's also amazing. So I have 2 just the most amazing avatars. And then Finia, who helps me, she's in France. and she has her avatar is really outstanding. She's the most creative person I've met in the virtual world by far. She's just like bursting with creativity, and it's such a pleasure to have her help, and yeah, she's really good. And her avatar, she's always so creative. You see her every day. She's different. She's dressing different, and she's really good. She's really good, and she doesn't. She's a no bullshit kind of person, man. She's just totally about creativity and stuff. And so that's such a pleasure to know her. Yeah. Wow, we've been in there 14 years, man. That's a long time. We had a Res Day party the other day from one of the people in our tribe in there, and she's been in that world for 18 years. She's actually my girlfriend in the virtual world, and she's been in there for 18 years. Her and I have been hanging out together for 14 years, so we're like a little partner in crime. We like run around in there and do stuff. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. We call it Res Day season because most people join the virtual world in wintertime when they can't go outdoors and they live in the cold and stuff. And so a lot of the people in Europe and stuff and in the US, they join in the winter because they're inside in the winter. In the summer, they're out doing stuff. And so we call it Res Day season because a Res Day is like your birthday when you join the virtual world. That's the day you're born in there. So from like November to April or March or April, we have parties every week for different members of our tribe are having Res Days, and we have this one girl from the Netherlands that she sets up all the parties. She does all the decorating and everything. It's really cool, and it's really fun. I go in there for an hour or two every day, more like an hour, maybe an hour and a half every day. I go in there, and I go in there at 2:30. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, from like basically from 2 to 4, 2:30 to 4, I go in there, and that in Europe, that 3 o'clock is midnight here. So when we're in there at 3 o'clock, it's midnight for them. So everybody shows up at midnight, So when we're filming scenes in the virtual world, let's say to get 20 people all together, that takes some coordinating, So we, a week ahead of time, 2 weeks ahead of time, we start talking to everybody, can you make it on this date? And so they're all agreeing to be there at midnight, their time, for the filming. So think about that. We got international cooperation. We got people from Germany. We got people from the Netherlands, from France, from Belgium, from the UK. And they all agreed to be there at midnight, their time, to do this filming. We film for an hour or two. And usually for an hour we film. And it's really hard to coordinate that. It's just like it is in the real world. It's hard to get people to do anything. But we've all been together so long, and they're basically the core of our tribe. We've been together for 14 years, so we do pretty good together, Sometimes we fight a little bit, but mostly we don't, We disagree about stuff. And I joined the virtual world in the daytime, so I instead of at night. I never go on at night. Most people go on the virtual world at night. Like if you go on there at night here, it's all U.S. people in there at night. But if you go on there in the morning, you might run into people from South Africa or Australia or stuff. And you go in the daytime, you run into people from Brazil because they're sort of like in the same time dealie. And so it's really different. It's really funny. So you can go different times. So you go certain times, you run into people from China and Japan and all these places. And then the other time of the day, you run. So all different times of the day, there's different people in there from different parts of the world. And in Istanbul, they're using our virtual world in Istanbul in the college. The people make stuff in this college. They do some really creative stuff, man, in Istanbul at this one college. And they're in there. So, but they're in there earlier, because it's midnight when it's 2:30, when it's 3 o'clock here. So they're in there earlier, and I don't see a lot of their stuff, but I see enough of it to realize they're really doing cool stuff. It's not as popular as it used to be because there's more games for people to play. Technically, it's a video game, but there's more opportunity out there, more video games, and so It's like not as big as it used to be. Like when I first joined the virtual world, there was like you could go in any time of the day, there'd be like 70,000 people in there. But now when you go in, there's like 40 to 50,000 people. But that's still a lot of people. 24 hours a day, anytime you go in there, there's 40 or 50,000 people cruising around doing stuff. Often we wonder, where are all those people? Because you don't see them all, because they're all just in space in the virtual world doing whatever they do. But you wind up you wind up finding music venues because they advertise in there, and you can go to a music venue in Japan or China, and they're playing music you've never heard before. You go to Istanbul, I mean, shit, people all over the world got music, their own music, and they like it. And so where else could you find the music? And we talk about music as the glue that keeps us in there. Like it's the glue, like besides all the drama and the personal stuff that's going on in there, it's really the music is the glue, the music is the glue. And different people I've noticed operate differently. If you go to a club in the U.S., the U.S. people say a lot of weird shit. They like toxilation stuff. And the Euro people are a little more reserved and they act cooler in a way. And so and I hang mostly in the daytime, so I'm with Euros. Mostly I'm with Euro people in there. That's why most of our tribe is Euro. There's only 2 of us in our tribe out of 22 people that are from the U.S., and me and one other person. But everybody else is Euro. And so, like, if you're at a club and somebody comes there and they start saying stuff, and it's called an open chat where everybody in the club can hear what they're saying. They type it in, it's all done with typing. And so they type in open chat stuff. And you can tell instantly if it's a person from the U.S. by the dumb shit they type in there. And I hate to say that, but it's almost embarrassing, man, how some of the stuff the U.S. people say. Yeah. But I love it. And I'm from the U.S. and I love the U.S. and I love everything about it. But it's really funny how different people operate different, Like, and some people just type nonstop. It's exhausting how much they type. And then other people never type anything. They just stand there, So anyway, music is the glue. Music is the glue. I guess music is important to people all over the world, man. No matter where the people are from, music is important to them, We run into people from India in there, just from the weirdest places, man. People show up. And the Russian people, there's a lot of them that are in there. They're scammers, man, That's another thing that's funny. The Russians are really different in the virtual world. They're kind of, they're kind of edgy and sort of scammy. They're not real, they're different, a different kind of friendly they are. They're not as easy. They're just a little harder. They're probably the hardest group I've run into in there, the Russians. And there's a lot of Russians in there. And anyway, it's kind of fun. It's like international stuff. It's fun. It's fun. And when you first join the virtual world, you get addicted to it. And so you're in there like 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day. And we all talk about it. Like when we first started, man, you get so addicted to it. You can't get enough. You just play all day long, And then as time goes on, you find your place, you find your people. So now I'm down to the point that I'm in there for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours on a weekend, on a Sunday. And so that's kind of cool. On Sunday, we have a Sunday dance where our whole tribe gets together and we hang out on Sunday for 2 hours. And that's probably the longest time I spend in there anymore. But usually I'm in there for about an hour a day. And yeah, we talk about this movie I want to make. It's really amazing how cooperative everybody is. Like I ask everybody to help me and show up for the movie, and they show up. And that's really a big deal because these people are all over the world and they show up and help. And that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Okay, I know I'm carrying on, repeating myself. I wasn't going to talk today. I was just going to play, but yeah, there I go. I always tell stories. I guess I'll go now. See, I'm not playing as good as I was before. Playing is so weird. You just feel it and it feels good. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. Okay. Yeah, and somebody else reminded me I haven't been saying 3, 2, 1 poof because I have to run over to the computer and shut it off. So it isn't like poof. But I'll say it. 3, 2, 1, poof.